of the largest consulting companies with over 675,000 people in 50 countries among 200 something cities. We also have a large set of Fortune 100 companies as our clients. Currently, we have over 89 Fortune 100 companies that are our clients. And from a Fortune 500 global companies, we have something about more than 75% of them as our current clients.
So now that you kind of have an idea of what Accenture looks like on a global level, let's talk more specifically about North America. So within North America, Accenture has 55,000 employees across 45 cities. There are 5 main market units that we focus on, which is Northeast, Midwest, which is where Detroit and Columbus would fall, South, West, and Canada. We have 11 innovation hubs, which are basically these kind of like centers where we come together with teams of designers, developers, and other tech experts, along with clients, where we work together to ideate and come up with new ideas and bring them to life, basically. We have 23 employee resource groups, or ERGs, within North America, and we'll touch more on those later as well. And every year, on average, we have over 3,500 entry-level hires every year. In terms of awards and recognitions, Accenture has been recognized by Fortune as a global business leader, as well as a great place to work. Bloomberg has recognized Accenture for its Gender Equality Index for 4 consecutive years. We've been recognized by Refinitiv for our Diversity and Inclusion Index for 6 consecutive years, and we've won some awards for corporate citizenship as well.
Yeah, so with that, I wanted to cover a little bit about Accenture in Detroit, what our presence is like. We have over 1,000 people in Michigan currently, and we have multiple locations within Michigan, spread out among different cities, such as our Industry X Innovation Center, which is in Livonia, the Detroit Digital Delivery Center, which is located in downtown Detroit, which also houses our quantum computing experience zone. And lastly, but not the least, is the Forge, which is in Ann Arbor. Some of the key things happening here in Michigan is that we have been recognized as one of the top places to work for 7 times by Detroit Free Press. A couple of the roles that we usually hire for in Detroit are our CDP program, which is the consulting program, the technology, architecture, and advanced application engineering program, and also our business and integration analyst. We'll give you a little bit more about what these roles are, so you get a little bit familiarized with it. From a company perspective, how we are rooted into the community, I just wanted to highlight that in 2019, we had over $600,000 worth of employee giving, which included pro bono work. And we are deeply rooted within the community with a partnership such as the TechNow Partnership, our Junior Achievement Program, the Michigan Council of Women in Technology, and also the work we're doing here with City Year. So with that, let me give you a breakdown of what and how our company is structured. Our company is broken down into 4 different pillars, if you will. They're the strategy and consulting, the interactive, technology and operations. From a strategy and consulting side, what we try to do is we're helping businesses, organizations, C-suite transform into being more competitive, help them grow profitability, and try and help them deliver a sustainable stakeholder value.
From an interactive point of view, interactive is really focused on experiences. So within interactive, they focus on the design, build, communication, and execution of meaningful experiences with a focus on the intersection of purpose and innovation. The technology pillar is pretty self-explanatory. It's a lot of the things you would imagine fall under technology. So cloud services, systems integration, security services, software engineering, and infrastructure services. But technology also includes our research and development activities with like laboratories, as well as Accenture's investments in emerging technologies.
Yeah, and last but not least is the operations sector, which is what I fall under currently. Here, what we try and do is we help businesses run. These are specific activities that businesses might need, such as financing, accounting, marketing, procurement, and anything else they can think of in between. So with that, we kind of mocked up an example scenario of what our company might be able to do, right? And what we've done here is mocked it up for a pharmaceutical company. So having just learned about the 4 pillars, how would these 4 pillars interact with that company? So from a strategy and consulting standpoint, what we might help you do is that we might help determine what kind of disruptive changes are going on within the industry, within the pharmaceutical place that are over the horizon that we can kind of get in and help you navigate through, or apply specific solutions such as artificial intelligence or machine learning or specific analysis so that you can help your clients kind of get a better outcome. From a technology perspective, what we can do is we can help determine what kind of ecosystem or platform strategy that you need to be successful in the future. If you currently have infrastructure, let's say on-premise infrastructure, we can help you move that and migrate that over to a cloud solution that can help reduce down costs, increase efficiency, and improve patient outcomes, specifically if it's for a pharmaceutical company. From an interactive standpoint, what we can help do is we can build a virtual chatbot system. What this can in turn do is that it will cut down on the resources required from the company specifically, and help kind of speed up the critical information access from a customer standpoint. And from an operations side of things, what we can help and do is we can establish a frontline customer support center so that if your patients have any sort of questions, they can quickly reach out to the frontline support center and address any questions or concerns they might have.
Okay. Now that you kind of have an idea of how those pillars apply to a company, let's talk more about something that's relevant to all of you on this call, and that would be our analyst development programs. So these programs are geared toward entry level or college graduates essentially. All the programs are listed below. There's TDP, CDP, AS, ADP, and IDP, but I think specifically CDP or Consulting Development Program would apply to all of you here because a lot of that program focuses on transferable skills like leadership, problem solving, effective communication. And some of the benefits of being in one of these programs are you're getting a consulting-based education, which again will not only teach you some of those transferable skills, but will also strengthen what existing skills you do have. You'll get the opportunity to do diverse projects and roles. And so you kind of heard that Accenture works with a lot of different companies, and Smith and I haven't even had the chance to really even demonstrate the breadth of how many companies Accenture works with, but you'll have so many opportunities to work in different industries and different types of roles if you do one of these programs. Aside from that, you'll also get amazing leadership opportunities. So whether it be, on a client account where you get to lead other people at your level, or if it's with a +1, you'll definitely get opportunities to build your leadership skills, which is amazing. Aside from the work that you're doing for the client, which will help you build your career, you will also get opportunities to build on your career in other ways at professional engagements, which there are plenty of opportunities in these programs to do so. Accenture is huge on continued education or continued upskilling or training. So you'll have so many training opportunities, and I'll talk more about that later, but it's definitely one of my favorite things about working at Accenture. And you'll definitely have plenty of opportunity in one of these programs to do that. And lastly, if you do one of these programs, you will have a cohort of people joining the program at the same time as you. So not only will you have, you'll make friends, everyone gets really close in these programs, But then you have like a support group basically, and it just makes going to work more fun every day. And people have definitely made some really great friends out of these programs.
Yeah, so now that we've covered that, wanted to go into what a day in the life of an analyst would look like. And we have kind of mapped out here what that might look like. If you would like to take a look at this after our presentation is over, feel free to do so. But I just wanted to give you an overview from my day-to-day as I'm a senior analyst as well. These are some of the activities you might do also. So I start off my morning with our team meetings. What happens during these team meetings is that we usually cover what are some hindrances or key activities going on during the day or during the week. Do we have any upcoming deployments coming up? Any hindrances with those? Any issues with those? So kind of planning meeting is what we try to do. And that kind of leads us into the afternoon where I am focusing more on the work for the project instead of what we can do as a team. So some of the activities that I might do that are project specific are making sure that we are on track on delivering everything for what we had defined for the month or maybe for the year. Making sure that our financials are in track of what we had promised our client to have delivered on for the month and for the year. And that kind of takes me into the evening where I start to wind down on my uh, kind of project work, teamwork, and geared towards the plus ones. So I currently have 2+1s that I do outside of my role, which are the work I do for the Detroit Social Committee and the VR team I'm on, which is the VR Game Changers. So this work might involve setting up some time with the teammates with these teams, or trying to do some research, attending events, and so on and so forth. So this is what your day-to-day might also look like.
Right. So, like I kind of mentioned on the other slide about how Accenture is really big on continued learning and development. I guess like a really good personal example is since I've joined Accenture, I've been able to get cloud certified in Amazon Web Services. Last week, I actually just participated in a product owner, product manager session that Accenture put on, and then they're actually paying for me to take the exam and get certified. And so I didn't start my career like in this current space as a product owner, product manager. I was actually a developer, but I was able to pivot into this role and have the support of Accenture and all those trainings I was talking about. And so if you come to work at Accenture, you will have so many different opportunities to continue to do that. And I definitely love this about Accenture.
Yeah. That takes us to starting your journey at Accenture, and specifically why Accenture. So like I talked about before, we are a giant company with over 670,000 people. So you'll have a lot of support within the company to rely on. We have a large set of mentorship programs within the organization with these sort of development programs that we offer. And you'll have a reliance on a lot of networking opportunities as well. From a learning and development perspective, like Crystal mentioned, we have a large emphasis on continuous growth and continuous upskilling. We offer in-house learning opportunities and even courses from outside, like Amazon Web Services courses, like some other technical courses, and what have you not. Outside of that, from an inclusion and diversity perspective, we we have a large focus on this, and we'll cover this as well, and sort of the numbers by the numbers and kind of the recognition we have received in this sector. And from an innovation corporate citizenship perspective, what I want to cover here is that um, you'll have access to cutting edge technology and have access to work with amazing companies such as SAP, Oracle, Microsoft, Salesforce, all the leading companies and what have you not. From a corporate citizenship perspective, all I want to cover here is that you'll have a you'll have the ability to have real impact within your local community wherever you might be based out of through volunteering opportunities and so forth.
So yeah, this has come up a few times, but Accenture is really big on diversity and inclusion. Since we are committed to diversity and inclusion, that obviously includes when we're recruiting, we want to recruit the most diverse candidates because we know when you have diversity, that leads to innovation. And it's really, really important, especially in this day and age, to hire diverse candidates. Once you're at Accenture, though, we continue to foster that culture of diversity and inclusion through specialized training, network support with those employee resource groups and other resources. For example, I'm currently a part of the Asian American Pacific Employee Resource Group. And so we do a lot of fun events, like we did a Lunar New Year's event, but then there are more serious events too, like a panel on being an Asian American woman in the workforce. And I worked at a few companies prior to Accenture, and they had, similar type things, but I feel like so far Accenture is actually means what they say. They definitely care about creating a diverse and inclusive workspace where everyone feels like they can be their true and authentic self.
Yeah, so with that, I wanted to cover a little bit from the numbers perspective, like I had alluded before. Some of the key numbers here to highlight is that from a gender specific side of things, we have over 46% of our current global workforce it consists of women, and our target is to be at least 50% by 2025. And from a pride perspective, we have over 120,000 individuals who have identified themselves as allies in over 52 countries, with over 22,000 internal and cross-cultural champions in the cross-cultural diversity side of things. We have over 6,500 trained mental health allies, and over 170,000 people have participated in sort of the mind courses and mental health awareness courses that we put out throughout the year.
Actually, just to add something, oh, sorry, so I just wanted to add something on the end of that. Another really great thing, Accenture has actually been the first company I've worked for that provided us like therapy as a resource. Like usually, like my previous employers would always say, like, take care of your mental health, but Accenture is the first company to actually pay for that benefit. And it's been amazing. Therapy has really helped me. And I love that they give that to all of us as a benefit. But moving right along, if we go to the next slide, Smith. Here are some more recognitions. I won't bore you by going through all the numbers, but in terms of inclusion and diversity, Accenture has also been recognized for a couple different things. So once you guys get the deck, you can all go through this and take a look further.
Yeah, so that takes us to what top talent looks like to us as Accenture and us as a company. The top talent is basically a combination of experience and skills for us. So from an experience side of things, what we're looking for is that have you had any work history in the past, any internships, any leadership opportunities that you have taken up, what your grasp of Accenture is like as a company, do you know anything about consulting, and what your extracurricular involvement is like. So those are some of the things we would look for from an experience side of things. And from a skill side of things, we are looking for all sorts of transferable skills, such as how adaptable you are, whether you're a team worker, do you like to collaborate, how good you are with collaborating, would you be very flexible or not, do you bring a positive attitude to work every day, are you sort of a learner, curious person, always questioning things, do you value innovation, and if you have any software or technical skills, that's always good to have. So with that, we can go on over to the application and interview process and what that looks like at Accenture.
Yep. So if anything we talked about sounds interesting to you, first you can start off by heading over to either of these links, the Accenture Analyst or the Accenture Summer Analyst. So these positions will be posted this summer, and they will be for positions next year because we have completed hiring for 2022. First, you would go to one of those links, and then you would go on over to the discovery portal where you would complete our digital assessment. And that assessment is basically just a couple of challenges that kind of simulate what it would be like to work on an Accenture project. Next, if you are selected, you will be invited to a screening interview, and that's kind of like your stereotypical HR screen call, where they just ask you some questions to see if you would have, a good skill set for the role. And then finally, if you are selected, you will move on to the final round interviews, which is actually done in a more unconventional format. So you'll be giving a technology showcase in front of 2 different Accenture executives. They're one-on-one style interviews. And that showcase is where you're just going to talk about some sort of technology. And it allows you to basically show your strengths, your interests, and your potential.
Yeah. So with that, I think that covers all the information that we wanted to give you about the company, some of the work involved. So we just wanted to open up the floor now to see if you had any questions for us that we can answer.
Yeah, just first off, I really want to say great presentation for you two, with Smith and Crystal. It was just awesome to learn a lot more about what you do at Accenture and what's going on behind the scenes. Like I mentioned in the chat, you're welcome to add questions there, or you can unmute and ask them out loud. Either is okay. Seeing one, oh, go ahead, Swati.
Yeah. My name is Swati. I have a 7-year of experience in IT consulting, and I'm doing masters in logistics now. Even I worked in Accenture in India.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. So I just wanted to ask, is Accenture providing a sponsorship for H-1B visa?
That would really depend on the role, right, Crystal? I don't think we have a set rule for every role.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not into it. We can get back. I can check with James, the other HR recruiter, and I'll let Andrew know. He can let you know.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that is actually a really good question. So Cityr has very, very few requirements, but for our AmeriCorps roles specifically, apart from being the requisite age, which is 17 to 25, and having a diploma, you do have to be a US citizen or a permanent resident to serve. So I appreciate you asking, Swati. It was a really, really good question.
Okay,
What else are folks wondering? What else would you like to know?
Yeah, feel free to ask any questions if you have about our specific roles, either Crystal's role or my role. Yeah, I'm welcome to that.
Something that I was thinking of, kind of reviewing the presentation that you were giving and how it aligns with Cityr's values and some of the experience you can get as a first-year AmeriCorps member, between the emphasis on teamwork, on leadership opportunity, and on celebrating things like diversity and inclusion at various levels. What would you say is a value add coming from a year of service into that 2023 analyst application? What might stand out? Or on the flip side, what are skills either in the transfer end or technical end that these guests on this call and future participants in watching the video might benefit from?
Did you want to take that?
Yeah, I can try. Okay, so I think a really, really big one, not to be cliche, I think communication is huge. No matter what role you're in, even if you're technical, when you're working with clients, like learning how to effectively communicate with anybody will take you so far. And so I think during your year with your service with Cityr, if you can just work on, that effective communication, you'll just go very far, no matter, actually, even if you don't work at Accenture, honestly, but especially in consulting, it'll take you very far. That, I think, is what makes someone stand out from a good versus like a great employee at Accenture. Do you have anything to add?
No, that's a good point. One of the things that we struggle a lot with is a lot of rework, and that just goes back to like what she was doing. She was saying, right? It's about building on to the communication side of things, and it takes a lot of practice, right? It's not something you can just kind of learn over 1 year, but it takes multiple years to kind of grow into.
I guess, teamwork. Every employer is going to say they want teamwork, but especially when you're a consultant, like you're being hired by a client, a lot of times it's for like a short period of time, like maybe 3 months. You're just going to go in and all you really have to lean on is your team. And again, like I've been on projects where the team has not been aligned, or the communication, again, bringing that word up, is just not good. And as a result, it just made everyone's job a lot harder and our work wasn't as good. So learning to work with others, especially people you don't get along with, like if you can learn how to work with people you don't get along with well, again, you'll be very successful at any career, but especially Accenture. Anything to add?
Yeah, from the perspective of somebody who went through multiple years of service this year, I can really speak to the opportunity you have to practice both communication in relating to different parties within the school, obviously the breadth of the students that you get to work with every day during your service in school, and in other partner organizations that are supporting students, other staff throughout the building, a lot of opportunities to learn where to lead and learn where to follow and take direction and absorb the information that you're given to improve the service that you provide. Similarly, teamwork is something that is really prevalent in the ACM role. We work on small teams of AmeriCorps members at all the schools that we serve, and you'll get the opportunity, similar to some of the things that you were mentioning about like both the close-knit relationship in your early working years at Accenture. It's something that you really get a benefit from at City Year during the service experience. We're really proud of our team culture. And so hopefully that's something that you could leverage in these future applications, or in considering work with one of these organizations like the employers of national service like Accenture. I guess leading into your specific experiences, Smith and Crystal, what has been most rewarding for you? Well, as a relatively new employee, maybe somebody who's got a few more years under their belt with the organization.
So the question is, what was the most rewarding? Is that what you asked?
Yeah, what has been most rewarding for you working with them as a more recent employee, and then obviously Crystal with a different perspective?
Yeah, one of the reasons I joined Accenture is being able to work on sort of different projects, different companies, and whatnot. And currently, what I've seen great value out of my current projects is that I can control a lot of things, right? As a project manager, as a program manager, I have a lot of say on kind of the program's overall financial side of things, on how we perform, and controlling that. I think that's been a great asset for me as being able to learn from it, as being able to be someone as a subject matter expert that my teammates can also rely on. It's been one of the most rewarding things for me.
So mine, I think the most rewarding thing about working at Accenture has been more about my own personal growth. So I previously worked at General Mills and General Motors. So, this is not like my first job out of college, but I used to just be very like not confident. I wasn't very good at public speaking. And since joining Accenture, I feel like I've not only pushed myself to try new experiences. I got to work on my public speaking. I'm speaking with all of you here. And so I've just seen a lot of growth in my own confidence. I've made a lot of friends. I've built a network, and I've realized I can do anything I put my mind to, basically, because there are so many opportunities at Accenture. I just realized the world is my oyster, and I can do anything I want. So yeah, I'm really glad I came to Accenture.
I love that. That's really powerful, and something that I wish maybe like my generation, young millennials had been taught more. Like growth mindset will take you anywhere you want to go, and it's really, really valuable to see that in a corporate space, see that as part of company culture, not just as a line item in a pitch, but like something that you really get to leverage in your day-to-day and in your experience with the company overall. what else are folks wondering? What else is on your minds? What else would you like to know about either working with Accenture or service with City or a mixture thereof?
Hello, I have a question actually. So I am a current MBA student about to graduate, and I want to know, like, I don't have much work experience, but I'm interested in strategy and consulting in that field of work. And so I wanted to know, like, should I go into like a development program, or should I go into like an entry level? What would be more likelihood that someone with an MBA degree would be useful for them?
Do you want to take it, Smith, or I can take it? It's up to you.
Yeah. I think our development programs are specifically geared as sort of like a transition role. So if you're looking to kind of transition from a college perspective, if you're getting out of your undergrad, or even if you're getting out of your master's degree, it's really a great transition piece between going from sort of like an internship or a summer role or a part-time role to like a full-time position. So that would be a great fit. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, just
Okay.
to add on to what Smith's saying. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Sasha. You have more to
Oh,
ask?
no, I wanted to know, I don't know if I missed it during your presentation, but how long is your development program? Is it like a year or 2 years?
Yeah, so you're in the development program until you get promoted to consultant level. So like I'm a consultant, Smith's like a senior analyst. So that'll just depend on like your, I guess, personal goals. The average time to get promoted, Smith, you know this, right? I think it's like 1 or 2 years, right?
Getting out of the development program is like 3 years. Yes.
Yeah, it's like 3 years. But you can get your first promotion usually with a lot of them. People get promoted within their first year from like a level 11 to a 10. But just to add on to Smith's point, I know a few people in the program, and a lot of them are doing MBAs right now. And especially if you don't have a lot of work experience, that cohort portion I mentioned, it'll be just amazing to have other people in the same situation as you, and you're guided. Like you'll be given, like, not counselors, but just people higher up in the company to help you build your network, to help mentor you, and you'll just get extra opportunities as somebody with like a little less work experience. So I definitely think CDP would be a great fit for you if that's what you're interested in.
Okay, so you generally have like one person helping you as like your sponsor, or in general you have like a variety of more experienced leaders helping?
Yeah, there's like people that help with the program. So you wouldn't have like a one-on-one, but I mean, of course you can find a mentor. I've managed to find mentors at Accenture, and you have something called like a career counselor. And so they do your like performance review, but their actual job at Accenture is to help you with your career. Like if you have, this goal in mind, like I mentioned, I was a developer, I wanted to be a product manager, like that's something your career counselor would help you with. Additionally, some of those employee resource groups I mentioned, you can find, like, there are actually sponsorship, like formal sponsorship programs through those employee resource groups. So there's definitely opportunities to find like a one-on-one mentorship, but in terms of the actual program, there's people that help with the program.
Okay, thank you. I have one more question actually. So
Yeah.
I know you were talking about how one of the things that you really love about Accenture is that they have they care about your mental health, such as they give you access to a psychiatrist for like with a stipend. I'm assuming they're giving you some fee. Now, what other aspects of Accenture do you like? Like, do they have like great access to like amount of personal days, or like, we didn't really talk about that. So
yeah, usually we have been pretty good about PTO. We have something like 20 days, Chris, is that right?
It depends on what level you get hired in at, but it's very competitive. Sure. It's definitely competitive. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and from other side of health side of things, you also get great insurance providers, great lower fees, and also initiatives and perks they can participate in throughout the program, where you kind of get reimbursed for participating in the company's wellness programs.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Just to add on to that too, like parental leave or maternity leave, we have excellent maternity leave. It's like 5 months, I'm pretty sure, 5 or 6. So definitely better than a lot of companies. You're sabbatical. So like I know people that work got really stressful and they needed to take some time off. So people can take like 3 months sabbatical. So there are definitely a lot of really amazing benefits at Accenture.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, thank you for the great question, Sasha. I really appreciate it. On as a panel, most and foremost for you all as guests. So if there's anything else on your mind, definitely, like I said, ask out loud or add it to the chat.
I actually might have one more question.
No, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Go
So
for it.
random. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Yeah. So if somebody has like random forms of interest, right? And we're interested in one thing, that's why I was interested in consulting in the first place, is because it allows you to express yourself in a variety of ways, right? Now, what if somebody goes in for about 2 or 3 years, decides that they want to try another field of interest? Is that welcomed in this company?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest perk of joining Accenture is that you have access to a wide variety of companies and sort of environments. I think maybe you alluded to the 2 to 3 years of being in sort of like one role or one environment. Maybe that's because of the development program, but that's not the case. Even in the development program, you'll have the opportunity to kind of shape your own future, right? If you're interested in a specific industry that you wanted to start off with, and then switch once your commitment to that role is over, you have the kind of opportunity to do that throughout your career.
Okay, sounds good.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
official, I'm done.
No, thank you so much for the questions. Really, no apologies necessary. It's really important that you get to ask what you're interested in.
Yeah.
Anything else? Oh, go ahead, Crystal.
I'll just add on to Smith's point. I mentioned it a few times already during the session, but I feel like I'm like the living proof of what you're asking. I was a full stack developer for 3 years. So at my other companies, I was a developer. I was hired at Accenture as a developer, but I knew eventually I realized like I didn't want to keep like writing code. So I made this pivot into being like, more functional as a product owner. And so I had the opportunity to try it out for like this current role I'm in this for about a year. So I've been in this role for 6 months and I realized like this is what I want to continue to do. So I'm currently in the process of like transferring to a new like area of alignment. I've taken those trainings I talked about. So definitely if you realize that you're interested in something else, like I said before, the world is your oyster. So you really can do anything you want to do at Accenture.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing a ton else come in chat-wise, obviously, or anything else. So if we've answered all the questions, I think we can wrap the presentation here. I want to thank Crystal and Smith again for joining us today for really just a stellar presentation of what Accenture is and does. And thank you, Sasha, Swati, and everybody else who joined as well as participants. What I guess happens next is that Cydia will follow up with everybody who RSVP'd. We'll share the contact list with you two so you can stay in touch. But is there anywhere else that folks can go for information, either to follow up on this conversation or just to seek you out in general? What's the best place they can look for info about Accenture?
Yeah. Usually our accenture.com/career is the best kind of hub to get all the information about careers, but I'll also drop in my LinkedIn information if anyone wanted to reach out to me specifically about either my experience at Accenture or current kind of the offerings we have. I'll probably guide you through a recruiter that we have, as I'm not able to answer all the recruitment related questions. But feel free to do that.
Yes, I'll also drop my Accenture email in here. Swati, I already pinged James to ask him, but if you want to shoot me an email, I can loop James in and he can answer your question about sponsorship.
And similarly, you can find us cityyear.org. But appreciate it for joining us today, and I hope you have a wonderful afternoon.